Haushiko Haki, Conqueror Haki. Haushiko Haki is a rare form of Haki that allows the user to exert their own willpower over others. This type of Haki cannot be attained through training, and only one in several million people are born with this ability. It is said that whoever possesses this type of Haki has the qualities of a king, and are known as supreme rulers. Haushiko Haki is considered an extremely dangerous threat and a highly valuable asset by powerful groups such as the Marine Admirals and the Four Emperors. It was first demonstrated by Shanks, when he used it to scare off the Lord of the Coast, though it was not fully explained and revealed. Later on, during a meeting with Whitebeard, he used it to knock out most of the crew, which the few still standing attributed to his superior Haki. Luffy first displayed the effects of this type of Haki against Duval's bull, Motabaro, much to everyone's confusion. He displayed it again on Amazon Lily while battling Sandersonia and Marigold, knocking out a large portion of the audience observing the match. This is also the first time it is referred to by name. Luffy also used it to knock out the wolves attacking him and bent them in Impel Down, although he was poisoned badly by Magellan at the time and still had no control over it. Luffy exhibiting it during the Marineford War was enough for the Marine Admirals to become wary enough of him that they prioritized his elimination afterward. After the time skip, Luffy is proficient enough to tame monsters, as well as knock out a selected group of individuals without affecting any of the bystanders using Haushiko Haki, displaying his newfound proficiency in the skill. Luffy was even able to use it while unconscious. It has been implied a number of times that this Haki is based on lineage. Doberman, for example, noted that Luffy possessing Haushiko Haki made sense since he is the son of the Monkey D. Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army. It is later shown that Portgas D. Ace, Charlotte Katakuri, and Yamato also possess this Haki type just like their parents, Roger, Big Mom and Kaido respectively. However, not all children from the same parent are born with Haushiko Haki, as Don Quixote Doflamingo, Boa Hancock and Katakuri are the only ones among their siblings to possess it. It has been shown that when two users of this Haki clash, it causes a rippling or shockwave effect, cracking the air similar to the Gura Gura no Mi. This is simply referred to as a Haushiko clash, Haushoku no Shotatsu, literally meaning, Supreme Ruler Color Clash. The shock waves from the Haushiko Haki clash between Luffy and Chinjo were strong enough to blast people out of the Colosseum arena into the water below. The Haushiko Haki clash between Luffy and Doflamingo produced shockwaves that pushed Treble and Law's incapacitated body away from them. During a battle between Gol D. Roger and Edward Newgate, the Haushiko Haki clash between these two legendary pirates resulted in a massive shockwave that spread across the island and nearly capsized the enormous ship, Moby Dick. Usage. This type of Haki grants the user the ability to dominate the wills of others. Unlike the other types of Haki, Haushiko cannot be attained through training, instead its users must be born with the ability and can only learn to control it after discovering that they have it. Only one in several million people are born with this Haki. Portgas D. Ace was shown unwittingly using Haushiko Haki at the age of 10. Additionally, Haushiko Haki cannot be strengthened through direct use like the other two forms of Haki. Rather, the user can increase their force of will by becoming physically stronger. Thus, although the ability can manifest at a young age, Haushiko users generally do not consciously manifest and make full use of their abilities until adulthood. The ability to affect someone depends on the Haki user having greater strength of will than the person the Haki is being used against. The greater the power gap, the more easily the victim will succumb. Those with stronger wills can resist or even ignore the effects of Haushiko Haki. Basic techniques. Domination. Haushiko Haki can be used to temporarily dominate the psyche of others and intimidate them. This has been most explicitly shown against animals, with usages of Haushiko causing them to either become fearful and flee or become docile for a brief period, with both effects happening instantly. This domination may end up resulting in the victim losing consciousness a short time later, as shown by Motabaro. Additionally, the Kraken Surum was shown obeying commands from Luffy after being intimidated by a glare from him, but the overall degree of control that Haushiko users can assert over animals purely with this Haki is unclear. This technique's effect on humans and other races of equivalent intelligence is currently rather ambiguous. On Amazon Lily, when Luffy unleashed Haushiko Haki while shouting at Boa Marigold and Boa Sandersonia to stop attacking their petrified countrywomen, the two sisters were shown to be taken aback by the outburst and ultimately obeyed his command, though it is uncertain whether their action was unconsciously influenced by the Haushiko usage to any degree. In other instances, people in the vicinity of Haushiko usage whose wills are strong enough to avoid incapacitation have not demonstrated much indication of being dominated by the user's will. While Haushiko Haki users are almost always shown in high-ranking leadership positions, it remains unknown if this Haki plays any sort of a role in their ability to attract followers, other than people who consciously follow Haushiko users out of admiration for the Haki like Doflamingo's executives. Of course, since Haushiko users are stated to have the qualities of a king, they are naturally expected to possess personality traits that make them effective leaders. Shanks has shown the ability to unleash his Haushiko Haki from considerable distances to intimidate even individuals such as Marine Admiral Ryukujiu. Upon being hit with his Haushiko Haki, Ryukujiu appeared to be in pain and almost paralyzed by the force. In addition, Shanks seemed able to communicate with Ryukujiu somewhat through his Haki. Incapacitation. By overpowering the will of those around them to an even greater degree, a Haushiko Haki user is capable of knocking people and animals in their vicinity unconscious. Whether or not a person is rendered unconscious depends on the degree of their strength in comparison to the users. Generally, normal citizens and common soldiers and pirates are most likely to be knocked out by Haushiko Haki, whereas people established to be capable, powerful, and strong-willed are far less likely to fall victim. Oda has stated that anyone who is knocked out by Haushiko Haki is essentially not worth fighting the user directly. People who just barely have enough willpower to withstand a Haushiko user have been shown to become lightheaded and are forced to concentrate in order to remain conscious, and although sufficiently powerful people can resist this power without issue, they are still able to sense the Haki being used. The greater the strength and willpower that a Haushiko user possesses, the more people they are capable of incapacitating. Sufficiently powerful Haushiko users are frequently capable of going up against large hordes of enemies and incapacitating most, if not all of them in an instant. Unknowing or inexperienced Haushiko users frequently first manifest this ability unconsciously by shouting at those around them with the intent of trying to get them to stop doing something, and their release of Haushiko Haki will tend to indiscriminately impact everyone in their vicinity who is weak-willed enough. With training, a Haushiko user is capable of incapacitating people simply by looking intently at them, or even by just walking past them. Sufficiently skilled Haushiko users can also limit the effect of their Haki when using it in a crowded area, being capable of choosing not to knock out certain people. Additionally, Haushiko users have even demonstrated the ability to incapacitate others while unconscious, with their spirit remaining unyielding even as their body gives out. Pressure. If used with a sufficient degree of power, Haushiko Haki is capable of damaging inanimate objects and structures in the user's vicinity. This was first shown when Shanks used Haushiko on the Moby Dick to such a degree that it not only knocked out many of the Whitebeard pirates around him, but also slightly cracked some of the wood composing the ship, which had withstood the incredibly harsh sailing conditions of the New World since the era of Gold Roger, more than 2 decades prior. When two Haushiko users clash, they will generate black lightning, Kuroki Inazuma. Thin streams of black, W/red, energy that crackle. This energy will often stretch up high enough to be seen from anywhere on the island where the clash is taking place. This effect was first demonstrated and noted when Luffy and Shinjo clashed in the Korita Coliseum. Additionally, the force of a Haushiko Haki clash will create shockwaves that will shake the surrounding area and can even blow away nearby people and objects. When Gold, Roger and Whitebeard, two Haushiko users who are among the most powerful people to ever live, clashed, the resulting impact blew back all of the flora and fauna on the entire island and even exerted tremendous force on their ships on the coast. When Kaido fought Big Mom for half a day, Kaido's subordinates were extremely concerned that they would destroy the fortress they were in and even the entire island of Onigashima in the course of a long battle. Additionally, Haushiko clashes between particularly powerful individuals have even resulted in a massive rift in the sky above them, known as splitting the heavens, Tenga where. So far, this has been witnessed with Whitebeard vs Shanks, Kaido vs Big Mom, Roger vs Whitebeard, and Kaido vs Luffy. Advanced techniques. Infusion. A very small number of particularly powerful Haushiko Haki users, stated to only be a handful by Kaido, are able to infuse Matoeru, their body and weapons with this Haki in a way that is very similar to Busashoko Haki, greatly augmenting the power of their attacks. After infusing themselves with Haushiko Haki, the Haki is emitted from the part it is focused at in the form of black lightning, as seen with Roger's ace, Newgate's Murakumajiri, Kaido's Hasaikai, Big Mom's fist, Luffy's fists and legs, Yamato's Takuru, Zoro's Enma, Wado Ikemanji, and Sandai Kitetsu and Rayleigh's body. This application provides such an immense boost in power, it allowed Luffy to clash evenly against Kaido, the man known as the strongest living creature in the world. He was able to strike Kaido without making physical contact with him and even deal him damage, whereas his earlier use of advanced Busashoku enhanced attacks were too shallow and had no significant effect. Luffy was also able to use this application to deflect Kaido's Kanabo with a kick, whereas the best he could do with his highly trained Busashoku was barely block a strike from the Kanabo with both arms, and his arms were left in pain afterwards. All users so far are extremely skilled in Busashoku Haki, which can also be used in conjunction with Haushiko Infusion to augment their overall effectiveness. The advanced Busashoku application of damaging objects without making physical contact with them has often been seen with people using Haushiko Infusion, but it should not be taken as a sign of Haushiko Infusion by itself, as it has been shown that infused objects can make physical contact with what they strike. So far, Joel D., Roger, Edward Newgate, Kaido, Monkey D., Luffy, Charlotte Lin, Yamato, Roronoa Zoro, and Silver's Rayleigh have been seen infusing Haushiko Haki. Observation Killing. Observation killing, Kenbungaroshi, is an advanced Haushiko Haki technique which allows for the control of one's own aura or presence, negating an opponent's ability to see into the future with Kenbunchaku Haki. This technique has only been briefly mentioned so far, with Shanks being the only confirmed user. The qualities of a king. According to Marigold and Treble, Haushiko Haki is proof of an individual who possesses the qualities of a king, no Shishitsu, a candidate chosen by heaven. Haushiko Haki users need not been born of a royal bloodline, nor does it require one to strive to become royalty. It only needs one to have the greatest of ambitions, the goal of earning a significant position, the strive to be the best in the world at something, etc. While this is shown to be a very rare gift among the world as a whole, it is noted by Don Chinjo that the new world is filled with numerous others who possess the ability to use this haki. He explains that Luffy will most certainly encounter them and fight them for the title of Pirate King. Training. Awakening methods. It is currently unknown if there is an actual way to awaken this haki, since it cannot be learned, only controlled after one discovers that they are one in several million people to be born with it. So far, all seen cases of people awakening their Haushiko involve them using the ability subconsciously while in a state of distress, but also with an unwavering will. Training methods. Silver's Rayleigh has stated that although this haki can be controlled, it cannot be trained to become stronger directly. Since it is, in essence, the embodiment of the user's spirit, it can only become stronger if the user themselves becomes stronger. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.